Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today, we're going to go ahead and start to go into lesson 2. So for lesson 2, what you're going to need is you're going to need that Shrouded in Myth assignment that you should have completed. You should have highlighted any unfamiliar words, and you should have gotten the gist for each paragraph. So you're going to need this pulled up in a separate browser. And then you're going to need to go into Ms. Balsarak's ELA and Social Studies classroom. And then under classwork, you will see that for this week, the week of 9/14 to 9/18, you have your context clues assignment, okay? And that's what we're going to be going over. So for today's lesson, we're going to be talking about context clues. We talked a little bit about not realizing when we maybe don't know the meaning behind a word in lesson 1. So I want you guys to think, like, what do you normally do if you're reading and you come across a word that you don't understand? Maybe you can say it or pronounce it like we talked about, but if you don't actually know the meaning, what do you normally do? Do you move past it? Do you just skip it and keep reading? Or do you stop to try to figure out what the word means? And it's really important that as we're reading Percy Jackson and as we're reading anything, that we're stopping and we're realizing if we don't understand a word, that we need to take some time to figure out its meaning. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So I want you guys to go ahead and look at your Shrouded in Myth. This was my example one that we did in class. And then I'm going to start with the first paragraph and look and see if there's any words that I highlighted, okay? So the first word that I have is prophecy, and that's the one that we're going to use for an example. In classwork, you're going to open up the context clues assignment, and it looks like this. So we're looking back at our Shrouded in Myth assignment, and we're listing all the words that we highlighted and identified as being words that we didn't know. And then we're going to practice using context clues. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So what you'll do is you'll look into your Shrouded in Myth document. You'll look at every word you have highlighted, and then you'll put them here where it says unfamiliar vocabulary word. So I have prophecy, fate, and imprison for the first paragraph. So I'm going to put prophecy. For my first box, fate was another word I had. And imprisoned was another word that I have. So now I'm going to figure out the meaning. And I'm not going to go on Google. I'm not going to use a dictionary. First, I'm going to try to figure out what it means with context clues. So if I go back into my story, context clues are the words that are around the unknown word. So if I look at the word prophecy, I have all of these words in this sentence, okay, before I move on to the next sentence. And I'm going to reread that sentence and try to figure out the meaning of the word by looking at all the other words around it. A long, long, long time ago, even before Perseus was born, his grandfather Acrisius, the king of Argos, was given a prophecy. Okay, so I see that before prophecy, it says that he was given a prophecy. So I can think that a prophecy is something that is given, okay? He was given a prophecy that he would someday be killed by his grandson. So he was given a prophecy, which we don't know what it means. So he was giving us something that was telling him that someday he was going to be killed by his grandson. So I like this word here, someday. This is a big context clue. It's telling me that he was given something that was going to tell him what was going to happen someday in the future. Okay, so if I look back at my context clues chart, the meaning that I think prophecy means, I think it's something that could predict your future, okay? So I'm going to say that the meaning of prophecy, just based off of the words that I found, a prophecy is given to predict your future, okay? And I think it's something that's given to predict your future because obviously he was given the prophecy, but he was given it in order to tell him that someday he was going to be killed, so that was something that was going to happen in the future. So for me, from using my context clues, I think that a prophecy is something that is given to predict your future or to tell you or maybe warn about your future, okay? So now I have this next box, context clues, and this box is really important, and this is the box that you need to make sure you're filling out as well. This is the context clues. So I came up with my meaning but I need to cite evidence and show where and how I found the meaning of the word prophecy. So when I was going over this to try to figure it out, I really took time on this word given. So he was given a prophecy, and that's exactly what I'm going to write down for my context clues. That word given helped me figure out my meaning. So my context clues were that was given from the story. And then the other thing that I picked apart from the story and around the word prophecy was that he would someday be killed. And that word someday was key to let me know that it was something that was going to maybe happen in the future or predict the future. And he would someday be killed. Okay. So we are getting to better understand Shrouded in Myth by going back and figuring out the meaning of the words that we did not know. I'm going to put the words that I highlighted in my chart under unfamiliar vocabulary words, just like I did for prophecy. Then I'm going to try to figure out the meaning, and I'm not going to use Google. I'm not using a dictionary. I'm going to try by using context clues or the words around my unknown vocabulary word. So after I looked and reread the sentence that prophecy was in, the words given, so I know that a prophecy is something that can be given, helped me figure out the meaning. So that's what I used for my context clues. I have to cite or show proof of the context clues that I used to get my meaning. And then the other thing that helped me figure out the meaning of prophecy was this part here, that he would someday be killed, okay? And that's why I wrote he would someday be killed here. So you write your vocab word, you write the meaning that you come up with, and then you use the context clues, excuse me, then you write the context clues that helped you figure out that meaning, just like I did. And I took my context clues straight from the story, and that is okay. So if you have a lot of words that you highlighted and you did not know, that is fine. You need to find the meaning of those, okay? And I'm going to be looking to make sure that all the words highlighted, you also put all those words in this chart and found the meaning, okay? And then when you are done, all you need to do is submit your context clues assignment. And then tomorrow we are going to go, or Thursday, because Wednesday we have a social emotional day. On Thursday, we're going to go over some of these, and we're going to start with lesson 3. All right, if you have any questions, as always, you can just send me an email at lauren.balserac@thesmyrnaeagles.org email. And that is it for your ELA assignment today. Good luck.